detecting a massive object emerging from hyperspace.
Hey Star Wars fans, I know it's been a while since my last video, but I'm back. Had a bunch of finals and just wrapping up the semester at school, and so it's just been a really busy 2 weeks to about a month, so that's why I haven't been able to upload anything, but I'm back now. Hopefully I'll be able to come out a little bit more regularly. But I wanted to get this video out before the fan film tonight comes out about Darth Vader, so I figured I'd review the comic series done by Marvel. Now, I am going to go into some spoiler territory, but I'm not going to go too in-depth because I think every single one of you should read this comic series for yourself. It's 25 issues and takes place immediately following Revenge of the Sith. It actually picks up right after Darth Vader's reconstruction. This is probably the only Star Wars comic a part of the new canon that I would say easily is better than Son of Dathomir. Now, a bit of that is personal bias because Darth Vader is my favorite character, but I do honestly think that this comic is a high quality, very entertaining, and honestly, I think everyone should go read it. The first real storyline in this comic follows Darth Vader going after Kirik Infala, who's a Jedi that basically made a vow that said he wouldn't participate in any war, and he's going to devote himself to the Force. And this is amazing in a few ways. For one, it actually shows that Vader is vulnerable. There are people that can defeat him because Kirik Infala actually pretty badly beats Vader the first time they fight. And it isn't until Vader rebuilds himself and goes after Kirik that he can actually fight him on his own. In fact, it was only until Vader put civilians in harm's way that Master Infala showed any weakness whatsoever. And by defeating him, Vader got his kyber crystal that he used to make his red lightsaber, which, if you don't know, it's been shown in other facets of canon stuff, but this is the first time we've ever really seen a dark side adept using the dark side of the Force to corrupt a Jedi's lightsaber crystal. Another thing that's really great about this comic is the artwork. Honestly, the imagery that you see is amazing. One thing in particular that I just love is any scene where you see Vader meditating. You might see him meditating, but almost every single picture will be what he sees in his mind as he's meditating. He looks like burnt up kind of lava that hasn't completely cooled yet, so it's kind of red and black, and his arms, the appendages that he's lost in various duels, are white, and he's floating and levitating over this black ocean. And it's just a really cool imagery that you're not going to get this in a movie. You're not going to get this in a show. I mean, you might, but it's unlikely. And it's just really cool to see how he sees himself. And speaking of duels, there is no shortage of this. I remember walking in, I guess, reading the first issue, I had always thought, all right, Vader better fight a bunch of Jedi in this. I'm not going to be happy or satisfied if he doesn't. And man, does he. He fights and kills, I might add, Jedi Master Kirik Infala, who was introduced in this comic, by the way. You won't find him anywhere else. He kills Jocasta Nu, who was the librarian at the Jedi Temple, and Jedi Master, or I guess former, he was a council member, but Eth Koth, who we see in the Clone Wars in a few episodes here and there. He was featured in the season 2, in the end of season 2, but it's really cool to see him fight these. He also fights the Inquisitors at one point, and that was something that I enjoyed seeing. Seeing Darth Vader fight the Inquisitors, basically the Emperor sends him to the Jedi Temple, says, hey, there's stuff here. I'm going to speak very vaguely on this. Go visit. Vader's like, all right, cool. He's wandering around, and the Grand Inquisitor, which obviously you'll recognize from Rebels, pops out and starts attacking him, and Vader fights him for a little bit, and the Grand Inquisitor's like, dude, you're super weak. And Vader's like, no, I'm not weak. I was just testing my suit, and uses the same move on the Inquisitor's lightsaber that you see Kanan use at the end of season 1 of Rebels. He just slices it in half. Aside from just lightsaber crystals, this does go into a lot of detail about the dark side of the Force. We actually get 2 new Sith introduced into the canon. Darth Momin and Darth Shay, I believe is how you pronounce her name, which, as mentioned by a lot of people, it's the first female canon Sith Lord. This isn't really a big deal for me because we've got people like Darth Talon and several others. So a female Sith Lord isn't that big of a deal for me any more than it would be a guy Sith Lord. But it is the first canon female Sith Lord, so whatever, you know, hat tip to whatever, you know, I guess it's not that big of a deal for me. But if it is for you, that's cool. And how Darth Vader is introduced to Darth Moment is by way of his helmet, which I guess transcends death. I'm not 100% sure on how that works, but I guess he imbued a part of himself. The way that I kind of like explained it in my own head was it was kind of like Voldemort in Harry Potter. Like it's like his Horcrux. Like a part of him lives in that, so he's able to live on. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's cool when you really don't think about it. But Darth Moment and Darth Vader do end up fighting. This is on Mustafar in the same kind of arc that Vader builds his castle. And it's a really cool one. You actually see Anakin again in a Force vision, which was a little different. It was kind of odd. It felt like it was Vader's last time denying who he once was. All right, guys, I know I didn't go super in-depth because I do want each of you to read this comic. It's honestly a great read. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to have a fun time. Like I said before, there's a little bit of personal bias just because Darth Vader is my favorite character, but I think it's still a great series, and honestly, each of you should read it. All right, guys, I'll see you next time.